T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ready? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Midheaven Podcast. My name is Candice Marie, and this is my co-host,
The Peace Dealer.
We're back.
Yes.
With some yummy goodness for you guys. We thought it'd be fun to come on today and create a podcast talking all about
Your progressed chart.
your progressed chart.
Progression charts, I've learned after a few years of being an astrologer, a practicing astrologer, are more frighteningly accurate than actual natal charts.
Yeah, you will see things in a progressed chart that you don't always see. Like two things that I'm a big cheerleader for are your progressed charts and also your midpoints. If you want to really expand your astrological knowledge and go further down the astrology rabbit hole, I highly recommend setting up on these two subjects. So you want to talk a little bit about what the progressed chart is?
Well, personally, the progressed chart, the natal, some people say the natal chart is a snapshot when you're born, and that's partially true. But the natal chart is the, it's the cosmic blueprint of who you are when you were born.
It's the anchor.
The anchor,
Yeah.
right. And so when you were born, the planets kept moving. They didn't just stop. They kept progressing. And just like you grow and evolve, your natal chart grows and evolves. At first, I thought this was junk astrology. I thought it was bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. Because I just couldn't understand how every year, and I felt that way about the solar return chart too, but I was humbled. Oh my gosh, this is accurate as hell. I just didn't understand how every year, your natal chart, let's say you were born January 6th, right? When you turn 1 year old, your progress chart takes your natal chart and moves it a day to January 7th.
Yeah.
So every year you're born, the sun moves 1 degree. The moon moves 1 degree every month.
So your progressed moon changes signs around every two and a half years. Yeah, to a different sign.
30 months.
So you can definitely, I've gotten more so into it maybe the last year or two, and I don't do a session ever without looking at somebody's transits, their progress chart, and their solar return.
Yeah, she legit.
I have found that while some people are we'll look at one or the other, I won't make a prediction until reoccurring themes line up across the board in all three of those charts. And so you can look at a chart and look at transits, and certainly things are going to get activated, especially outer planets, activating, certain aspects in your chart and coming into conjunctions or squares or trines. But there's sometimes things happen, right? And this is what really kind of triggered my interest in this stuff is sometimes things happen that are not visible in the chart itself, which becomes super evident when you dig deep and you look at a solar return chart or especially a progress chart.
Yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about maybe the importance of the progressed sun, moon, and rising?
Absolutely.
Because I feel that's where the most action is next to, and
especially
we'll get into
the moon, for sure. Honestly, whenever people order progressed natal charts off of my website, which you should feel free to do if at any point you want to.
You do reports for that?
I do actual live readings for it.
Oh, okay.
I used to do recorded reports, but the progressed readings honestly are my favorites because they bring someone up to speed on how much they've evolved. And what I've learned is the progressed moon is truly, oh my God, the indicator, it's on the dot accurate. And so the most important part about the progressed chart is the progressed lunar cycle between the moon and the sun. You can literally tell the feel of it by the moon and the stage of it by the moon's relationship to the sun. So, for example, and that's what blows my mind because the natal chart will still give you accurate transits. When Jupiter went through my 4th house, not only did I move near the end, but I gained really deep insight into my ancestry. So the natal chart will still give you an accurate idea, but the progress chart is so beyond accurate that when my and in fact, it was the progressed natal chart that forced me, because I was anti-Placidus. I was like, I can't deal with these.
You have to go Placidus. You have to at least look at it.
I can't deal with these interceptions, and I loved equal because it's like, oh my gosh, they're all equal.
But interceptions are real. I know.
And I've been an interception denialist for so long. Like, I just don't want.
I have Sag and Gemini intercepted in my chart.
Right.
And I have consistently had issues with like 3rd and 9th house aspects, or Jupiter and Mercury aspects, or
That's deep.
and I have really hard Jupiter Mercury aspects in my natal chart, and so many people have come into my life, especially as a result of the nodal transits the last like year and a half, where I've encountered a lot of people who have a lot of Gemini or a lot of Sagittarius energy. So it's real.
And that's wild because like the equal will give you a more psychological profile of a person, but Placidus, the progress chart forced me to acknowledge that Placidus is the transit king. And I hated that too at the time, because it also helped me acknowledge equal, and I'll share how both. But when we know that the 9th house in astrology is higher education and graduate education, right? So when the progressed moon progressed exactly 15 degrees on my Placidus 9th house, was the very day I went back to college. And when I graduated college, the moon progressed, was on my equal sign 10th house. And my Placidus 10th house is probably going to be like 10 degrees, but it was still in the 10th house of the Placidus. So it was like, you know, a full-on completion, and it blew my mind how on point the moon. Like, if all you ever did was follow the progressed moon,
you can see so much from that. And also, like, the moon is the fastest moving planet
or luminary
in the chart. So when you think about, you know, how the moon changes signs in transit every 2.5 days, in a progress chart, it is still the fastest moving planet. So 2.5 years of a moon going through a particular house or a sign, I have felt that shift. Kind of wrapping off of what you were just saying, like my progressed moon is in the late degrees of Gemini right now, and it's on my 9th house cusp. So it's about to leave 28 Gemini in 2 months. Thank God. It's going to move. Thank God, I feel like a crazy person. It's going to move into Cancer at 0 degrees into my Placidus progressed 9th house. But really, that's my midheaven, my Placidus midheaven.
Right.
So I am anticipating when it makes that transit and begins to come into conjunction with my progressed and my natal Jupiter in the 10th, the next year of my life is going to be like 9th house stuff. It's like, you know, moving to another place, traveling, teaching, and my rising signs just turned to 0 degrees of Scorpio, which I don't mind because I've been a Libra rising my whole life, but now it's like I really felt that shift the last 2 weeks. I've been like super moody. Yeah, I've been like super moody.
You've been a Libra rising your whole life, and now you're feeling a Scorpio.
Okay, so here's how I see it.
I'm about to be a Cancer rising, so this is all
so my moon's gonna be conjunct your ascendant. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, all right.
That's wild.
So we're moving together. So here, I was thinking about something the other day, and I can't think of the book. I'll plug the book, but there's like a whole 2-volume series that I have that's on just the rising signs, and then it'll talk about progressions. And I was reading it, and I was like making notes, and then I put it away, and then I sat and I thought about it, and I was like, you know, Libra sacrifices truth for peace, but Scorpio sacrifices peace for truth. So there's been some radical changes in my life the last 2 weeks where I'm just like, fuck peace. Fuck that. So it's cool now having a Scorpio rising. So it's like you're releasing your rising. It's like you're releasing, but it's also releasing all my Scorpio placements. So I have natal, Lilith, Medusa, Mars all in the same degrees of Scorpio, and it's all sitting on my progressed ascendant.
That's deep. And one thing that Candace said that was very important was how the moon was progressing in her 9th, but that was her midheaven. And it's an advanced technique where
chart overlays.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the bread and butter, because that gives you it gives you literal added dimension to how to see how the overlays between the natal and the progressed occur. And personally, the progression chart helped me respect actual soulmate relationships and how the progress aspects are more relevant. For example, I know somebody who I was born with who I have the exact same moon sign degree. We're both 23-degree Cap moons. She's a Leo sun, I'm a Gemini sun. We meet in Cancer, like we have a soulmate connection. However, I was born 2 months before her, so our moons don't progress the same way. Then I know somebody who was born 3 years after me, and so my moon was in Capricorn. And the symbolic archetype of our relationship reflects this, to where my moon progressed through Aquarius, then it went through Pisces. She's a Sag, I'm a Gemini. Then it went through Pisces, and when it went into Pisces, she was born. And when she was born, right, she's a Sag, her moon is a little bit 5 degrees away from mine, and we're literally now progressed. Our souls are traveling together. So it's literally like a twin soul or soulmate connection. If you take away all the romance, you know, forget the romance or how we feel about each other, archetypally, the progression will show. And you can see this in your chart, where certain people may have different moon signs than you, but you progress to where your moons are traveling together. For the rest of your life, you will always have that.
Or a sun-moon conjunction, which is shorter, but sometimes I've seen people who are like, I don't understand, like, why suddenly I had this huge job change, right? Mm-hmm. You know, and it'll be like their progressed midheaven changes signs, and it goes from that 29 to 0 degrees. Mm-hmm. Or somebody will be like, I don't understand why, you know, this one particular year, I had some transits, but why did I meet my life partner? And so something that I've seen a lot of is, especially looking at somebody's progressed charts to a partner's natal, or vice versa. I don't always see it with progressed to progressed.
Right. But I have progressed to natal for sure.
But I have seen it. Like for mine, you know, because my progressed rising has been Libra, and I've had a progressed moon in Gemini, like, you know, my partner's got Mars and Gemini in the 7th, and it was like as soon as my moon entered their 7th house, I showed up. Right. So it's kind of interesting.
As soon as
my moon crossed into about 18 or 19 degrees of Gemini, it was like boom, I was there. So, and it's really cool because you can actually see, like, okay, these people actually come into your life for like emotional, like to like emotionally or like life-wise to like evolve.
Right.
So it goes beyond, you know, just the natal chart, which I think we're finally getting to a point in the astrological community where we're moving away from like just sun sign astrology. Right. So I'm glad for that. Yeah. But there's a lot of other things that people are overlooking, like the progress chart, which I feel like people should be looking at that probably just as often, if not,
oh my God, if not even more. If not even more.
And
I didn't always
chart.
believe this, but it was experience that made me believe her, and it's just like fascinating. Especially once again, just logging a progressed moon transit.
Well, and comparing the two, because like for me,
my bad to speak a little bit, because you said something very important about progress to natal. I overcame an obsession with a Sagittarius woman. The moment.
What is it with you and Sag women?
Oh my God, that Sag is my 8th house. I love Scorpio, I love Sag, I love Cap. Those are my top 3. But like personally, and I love all the signs. Don't get it twisted. But personally, like once again, Libra, I see you. Her progressed sun was over my natal moon, and it wasn't until that finished that I kind of resolved and overcame my obsession for her. Obviously, she's married too. So.
What about progressed sun conjunct progressed moon?
Progressed sun.
Are you both evolving on the same wavelength and creating a new moon? So you're creating new karma? Is it a restart?
You know what's interesting? Her progressed moon right now is in Gemini. And
if you guys get a clean slate?
Sun, that would be interesting. She just gave birth to a Gemini with a Gemini. So that's also interesting.
That's unfortunate.
Maybe she had... No, I'm happy for her. I'm really happy for her. Because, like, I see the vision. I get what you mean, though, right?
That's a lot. You got two Geminis and you're a Sag. Buckle up.
But see, I'm already... And the other Sagittarius that I spoke of, where our moons are meeting in Pisces right now, like... And that's the gift. Like, I want you to study that. Like, you'll find that if you're progressed in the same sign, whether it's trine or opposite, that's going to be like that for life. Like, that's the progression. It's set. And that was actually the lady that's the only lady who I got OnlyFans for, just so I can get her time of birth. But like, other than that, I released all that.
But on the flip side also, like the progressed sun, like that's the other thing that's really interesting to me, because like So I've been studying like a lot more like Hellenistic astrology and like learning like more traditional astrology, and recently kind of realized that if you have a nighttime chart, so if your sun is within the bottom part of the chart, you know, the first to the sixth house, you act more like your moon.
That's
right?
deep.
But if your sun is from the 7th through the 12th, you're going to really emphasize, I guess, your sun and your Saturn, I think.
I want to really research that.
So
That's
I'm like,
deep.
okay, I have an Aries moon. I definitely act like an Aries moon, but like people who really know me, they're like, yeah, you're like this like Scorpio Taurus hybrid because I have a fourth house. I have a second house stellium in Scorpio. But my progressed sun is in Sag. And it's like all I've wanted to
In
do.
the bottom now, right?
Yeah, like all I want to do is travel. All I want to do is learn. I'm always
deep.
like, you know, wanting to teach things, reading things, like writing things. And I'm really looking forward to my progressed sun, like changing signs in about 8 years and going into Capricorn, because your progressed sun's really going to tell you a lot. So that's the other thing that you want to really learn about, because sometimes I look at aspects of like my personality. I'm like, am I really this Scorpio? And then I'm like, actually, I act pretty saggy, and there's like some Sag aspects about me. And then when you look at when your progressed sun is going to change degrees and maybe go into a new sign or move into a new house, so it'll have a new vibe. So like I'm very second house influenced, but in a number of years, my progressed sun will move into Capricorn in the 3rd, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to shift more into like writing or like teaching or like publishing stuff. And it'll come into conjunction with my natal Cap planets.
Which is the cool thing about progressions, because you can literally see like, oh, this is going to happen and something really big.
Especially because outer planets like your Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, they move so slow in a progressed chart. So I will, for the next 30 years, have my natal Venus, which is progressed, still conjunct, you know, Uranus and Saturn. So like I'm gonna do astrology for the rest of my life.
Straight up.
Like there's like I'm in it. It's like blood in, blood out at this point. There's no other choice.
Even when your progressed sun meets natal planets in your chart, you want to look at that too.
Yeah.
And progress. So even the Leo King, he did a progressed chart reading for me, and he was like, oh, dude, when the progressed sun goes over Jupiter, you're gonna blow up. And I kind of made that observation too, and it's been true. It's been over
it's been there for the last 2 years?
The last 5 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And 5 years ago was when I actually started to really step into this. But it's going to go over my progressed Jupiter in another 2 years. And I feel like that's going to be the big, like, coup de grace.
Or maybe even like a Sun-Jupiter opposition. Like that could be something else.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I see oppositions as like kind of like
conjunctions. I think they're even better than conjunctions because they complete the conjunction. It's a challenge, but it opens up for more growth.
I'm looking forward to my progressed moon being conjunct Jupiter and my natal midheaven, and it's going to be 4 years because then it'll conjunct my progressed midheaven.
Well, there's also the range because there's the natal Jupiter and then the progressed Jupiter. So everything from there in between, it's like the Jupiter range. Which is pretty awesome.
It's gonna be a really interesting like next couple of years, and you know
that's your natal 10th house too.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah, and it's
you're
0
ascending
cardinal.
your career.
So I'm going to start something new. I'm waiting. I'm waiting until that moon changes signs. I'm actually going to start. I'm going to go back to doing my course stuff at the end of the year because I think I wasn't time yet. So it's going to be time, and it's also going to be more focused on Cancer things. So it's also going to have a lot of like stuff to do with like planetary herbalism and things like that, which I haven't. Progressed Gemini moon. I fucking can't. I fucking can't.
Oh my God.
I fucking can't. Even if it's made trines to my North Node, even if it's made trines to my Ascendant, I'm done. Like mutable energy and I, like we don't mix.
Especially the moon too. The moon is not the easiest to be in Gemini.
Like I feel like moon Gemini like makes me feel crazy.
You actually
I'm always
answered
changing
my
my
question
mind.
because I wanted to ask you your experience with the progressed moons. Once again, if you don't get anything we're saying, look up your progress chart and look up your moon, because that'll let you know everything you're going through right now. So as a progressed Cancer, when I was progressed Sagittarius, out moon, I was going out all the time. I was like, my friends would hit me up in El Paso, and like I was helping my friends.
Yeah, you were just out and.
I was out and about. This is my 8th house. My friends at the time were copping pounds of weed, and I was the one that was driving them, you know, to like, I know it's illegal, right? But I want to give you context. And even outside of that, like I was going out, but I didn't really, this was before my Saturn return, I didn't know who I was. Like I was searching for meaning. I didn't realize that. As soon as it went into Capricorn and it was full,
Progressed lunar return.
Booked and I was busy. It was
Yeah.
opposite. I became Magic Mike that year, and like that began the success that I've been reaping until it's going to be in Aries. Once it went into Aquarius, I went back to school, and it was
Ninth house.
Right, and it
Yeah.
was the progressed Cancer Sun. So I was reading the Superpower Wiki article, and I was coming to all sorts of knowledge about my special powers. And now it's 14 degrees Pisces, and ever since it's been in Pisces, like I graduated college, like I'm chill, I'm ascending. I'm kind of still clueless though, like in the Pisces, like my whole
Just wait till
perception.
it gets into Aries. You're just gonna burn everything down.
Oh, straight!
When
I
the
can't
moon
wait. It's gonna be
shifts,
lit.
even in transit, when the moon shifts from Pisces to like
A cardinal sign, or
Aries, I feel like you go from like being a wet blanket to being like, I'm gonna pull out my gun.
And it's really.
Yeah.
I got my
I
Mars
felt
natal
that
there,
heavily.
and it's gonna be a square to Cancer. So personally, as a Sag,
Yeah, but you're
just
gonna
look
have a
at your
moon
out.
square Jupiter. So it's not that's
shit,
not all that
yeah.
bad. Sun square moon just is really
Turning
more
the
about,
card.
you know, like dealing with, it's the energy of Mars. I see
Right.
that. The square is the energy of Mars, so it's acting.
And then you know what I've always felt? I felt that as a Gemini sun, I hate the Cancer progression. Cancer, I don't know how y'all do that.
The sun or the moon?
How do you do
sun?
that, Cancer? The sun.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like as a Gemini, I want to be in Leo and to be like, yeah, and talk mad shit. But in Cancer, it's like I'm feeling all these feelings. And it's like, oh, I want to learn sensitivity. And like, what the fuck? A psychic attack, Cancer, how do you do it? So
gosh.
as a Scorpio, do you feel that way about Sag? Are you waiting to get into Cap, or are you're traveling?
I have a
so
fourth
you
house
enjoy-
stellium natally
in Sag?
in Capricorn.
In
So I don't give a
Capricorn, right,
fuck.
right.
I'm a fucking gangster. I'm a gangster out in the world, but then if
Yo.
I get like upset about something, I'm like, ooh, like privately. Privately, I'm in my feelings. I felt it though. I definitely felt it. When my
Yes.
progressed moon moved from, when my progressed moon went into Aquarius, that's when I really got really heavy into astrology, and it was on my North Node.
Right.
When it went into
Right.
Pisces is when it went into my natal 6th house, and I started really doing a lot of readings for work and helping people. When I had my
In your
progressed
6th
lunar
house,
return at 27, it went into my 7th house, and it was in Aries, and that's when I had like a big girl relationship. And then when it
That was
progressed
trying
into
your Sag
Taurus,
sun?
yeah.
Okay.
And when it was progressed in Taurus, which a progressed moon in Taurus is lovely.
Exalted?
Yes, but
Oh,
when
that's
it came
awesome.
into an opposition with my natal Pluto, the relationship went up in flames. And I was just like, fuck this. Then it went into my 8th house, and it's been hell. It's been hell. So I'm like really glad to get it out of the 8th house, but it's been really good for me because I've had Uranus in my 8th house too. So it's like confronting all the monsters in the closet, like all the things you're afraid to deal with and like talk about, and like merger and like psychological and like sexual and like partnership and like insurance stuff and people dying.
Yeah.
So I'm like really excited to get the moon out of Gemini and into Cancer, because I feel like it's going to give me the opportunity to be like okay being more emotional and not being like a nervous wreck about it.
And that's 8th house to Sag, so it's complete transformation.
Yeah.
Which is that's kind of what happened in Aquarius, where the knowledge I came in really transformed my confidence. But when it was in Capricorn over Pluto and all that, like I was doing ayahuasca ceremonies.
Oh
I
yeah,
was,
that's
like,
such a good.
tripping on acid.
That's so great. That's like so
Natal
Plutonian,
Neptune,
but it's
yeah.
also like very ancestral, working with ancestors
Right,
and
working with ancestors,
like
yeah,
purging and learning about detoxing. The other thing I like also is, and I've seen this a lot, but you will draw a lot of those people into your life. Like as a progressed sun in Sag, I've had a lot of Sagittarian energy come into my life. I've had a lot of people who have Saturn, Uranus in Sag, a lot of people who have Mercury in Sag. I've brought in a lot of Geminis into my life, a lot of Gemini placement, which has actually made me kind of open up and like appreciate mutable energy more because I'm so fixed.
Right.
That a lot of the mutable people who've come in my life the last 2 years have been like, well, maybe it's not black and white. Maybe you can change your mind and like it's
Yeah.
okay. It's cool, I think.
No, it's definitely cool, and it's just fascinating. Like you can literally get a feel for what the period will be just in the sign it is. Like it's consistent, it's reliable, and the progressed sun gives you an awareness of, because like a progressed moon in Gemini is not going to be the same if your progressed sun is in Sag versus if it's in Cap, right?
Coming off the full moon though, I'm like riding
Congratulations,
high
by the
because
way. That's a huge
it's
deal.
been like a
It's a
big like
completion.
show up period in my life the last like 6 to 8 months. But at the same time, it's also like reaping the rewards, because they say when you come into that full moon, it's like it's like go big or go home. Because some people have experiences where everything goes bust, right? Like everything blows up if you haven't done the work up until that full moon.
And so you're experiencing this from the last end to the, like, your full moon is in the Gemini, which is way different than it being in like the other 6 signs.
Yeah, the full moon was in Gemini, so now it's moving into Cancer, and my progressed ascendant just shifted a week ago from, like I said, 29 Libra to now.
Which is even deeper, because you got in your relationship while it was in opposition too.
Yeah, with somebody who had a Mars in opposition to Saturn Uranus.
Which is very like 7th housey, which is so awesome.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, because it, in a lot of ways, like I said, it represents also like duality, right? Like when you think about like the Sag Gemini aspect. So it's like people will be like, oh, it's like twin flamey, like maybe, but it's also about like duality and like something that can support, because the zodiac's made up of really like 6 signs that have polarity. So when I think of like whether it's Sag and Gemini or Scorpio Taurus, like it's the same energy, it's just going to be complementary. So it was almost like the missing piece that came in that was like what the chart needed.
You can think of the progressed and natal as like a range, where like your base is the natal, but when you step fully into yourself, you're at the height of the progression you're at right now. So like you can go from a range from natal Scorpio to progressed Sag. It's like the
and that
fullest
progression
you've
you
evolved.
can feel. I mean, you feel all of them, but from Libra to Scorpio and Scorpio to Sag is like, fuck.
Yes,
like, it's so heavy.
That's what I wanted to talk about. The actual progression of the sun is a literal story.
Yeah.
So you like, depending on like where you are at your sun progression, you know the narrative that's happening. So like, to make this as quick as possible, because once you get to Libra, like the most interesting progression is Libra into Scorpio and into Sag. So like Aries is, of course, in its exaltation, you have the individual, you're the original. You progress into Taurus, you become the connoisseur, you turn grapes into fine wine. And the significance of progressing into the sign next to you is you're starting to develop your self-esteem and your worth, right? Especially through, whether it's, even if it's from like Libra to Sag or Libra to Scorpio, you're progressing into the value of your wealth. So you start to create more money. And then once you progress into Gemini, that's the angelic initiation of enlightenment. From you've now progressed and mastered your 5 senses. Now you're getting ready to progress your mind. And then from Gemini to Cancer, you convert that truth magic into psychic power.
Emotional development, emotional awareness, receptivity,
starting
security.
To get deeper. You start to like, I'm starting to like feel like, whereas as a Gemini I was so oblivious to like all
So wait,
this.
your progressed rising and your sun just changed?
My progressed sun just turned 20 degrees. And my progressed rising is 29 degree Gemini, 11 minutes.
So talk to me, okay, because we're going to go through the same progression. So your rising sign is going to become 0 Cancer pretty soon. And my moon's about to become 0 Cancer. So it'll be interesting to kind of like see, like, do we both become like super like emotional? Do we get more psychic? Because it also makes oppositions to our natal planets in Capricorn.
I would believe so. I think the rising moves pretty slow.
It does, yeah. About 29 to 31 years, I think, for the progressed ascendant to change signs. Well, depending, to go a full 29, 30 degrees.
So I think your moon will pass my rising before my rising.
Briefly, but it's still in that aspect. Like, I'm really excited because I have a lot of Cancer, Scorpio in my chart to really see that moon progression, trine my ascendant, because I know it's going to be a lot about like, it's like a lot about like transformation. So, physical too.
Coming out of Cancer, the last individual sign, into Leo, now you're progressing into the main character, you're gaining courage. And I notice this personally, like I don't like to be social, but Mercury is the only planet in my progress that's just progressed into Leo. And now I'm actually starting to be more social and talk to people. But Leo's my 4th house, so it's like a house party. It's like, I'm going to be social, but you have to come to me. And then once it's in Virgo, like, I'm going to really be social.
Talking to family more, too. You know, maybe just like more communicative
Weekly
with
Bible
them.
study every week, which was facilitated by my Cancer sister, ironically. And then, of course, the progression into Virgo is now integrating the individualization of Aries through Cancer based on Leo into mastery. You now become a master. You now start to literally master your behavior. You integrate all of your individual abilities and skills. And this brings me to my favorite progression, which personally is Scorpio and Sag into Cap, but Libra, because the sun is in its fall in Libra. And so the story of Lucifer, you actually gain a great insight into through the progression. Every Libra that you've ever met will have, or progressed Libra has an experience where they reach an unattainable peak of glory. We've seen it with Will Smith, we've seen it with Eminem, we've seen it with Lil Wayne, and then they fall from grace, whether through a scandal or maybe they just chill.
True.
Right.
This is super true.
And a lot of the sun in Libras help facilitate and guide fallen angels, because this is where the sun is in its fall, ruled by the prince of the power of the air, the morning star, which has references to Lucifer, of course, took a third with him. And here's the thing, where religious doctrine will tell you that, oh, Lucifer is doomed to hell. Astrology tells a different story, because the Libra progression progresses into the underworld, where you gain purity. And after you gain purity and wisdom, you progress in a Sag, where you ascend back in light. And the progression in the Sagittarius is the beginning of God consciousness, where the last 4 signs, you literally start to develop like God abilities.
Yeah.
I'm at the lower end at Cancer. Like, I'm barely going to be social. That's why I can't wait for Leo, because at least it'll be fun, like I'm the main character. But I'm always like awed at the progressed Sag, Cap, Aqua. The progressed Cap is graduation. So Sagittarius is the principle of expansion. You start to become all-seeing. You see all the possibilities. Then you progress into Capricorn. Now you come into integrity, and you focus all that expansion to a single point, and you literally become omnipotent. And it teaches you to do everything, but you have to have responsibility with great power. Then you become an ascended master in Aquarius, and you connect with everyone, start to know everything. And then, of course, you finish. This is a really quick synopsis, but then you have the progressed Pisces transit, and I've always felt that progressed 15 degrees Aquarius to 15 degrees Pisces is the sweet spot, where you come into like the celebrities, the main success, the full culmination, you enter heaven. Progressed Pisces is that culmination where you become what progressed Aries start, and I think the most fascinating progression is also from Pisces into Aries, because they restart the cycle.
Well, yeah, you feel it. I remember when my progressed lunar return happened. It was on an angular house too. That's part of it. So I think maybe that's why it was so much more evident for me. It's like when my progressed moon went from Pisces to Aries, it was like my hair was like bright red, and like I came into my progressed lunar return and I was like, yeah, like I feel like super Aries. But the most gnarly
was invigorating.
Yeah, but the most gnarly one I think has probably been the progressed ascendant, because it's been the most like, what the fuck is going on? It's like a crisis.
It's like the most visible change in your personality.
It's coming. Yeah, that's what's happening. My progressed Venus moved in this last year. It went from 29 degrees of Capricorn to 0 degrees of Aquarius.
Your progressed
Venus. Yeah, because my natal Venus is in Capricorn, so it went through all the degrees of Capricorn, hovered around 28, 29 degrees, moved into 0 of Aquarius, and now that my Venus is in Aquarius, I'm a very Venus person. I'm Libra rising, stellium in the 2nd, moon in the 7th. Now that Venus is in Aquarius, like I feel like relationships are not crisis oriented anymore. Like it's not like heavy work. It's not like
it's more detached.
Yeah, it's just more just kind of like, okay, cool, this works.
Right.
You know, so it's like nice to kind of have that off my back.
And my progressed Mars was 29 degrees Aries for a while. And it entered.
That's so rough. My Mars is getting up there. It's like 26,
Oh, the
27.
square to Pluto and everything? Oh, okay.
It's still in Scorpio.
So my progressed Mars recently, just now, entered 0 degrees Taurus, and now I'm doing semen retention. I'm not like fapping or like
you're gonna be
being
so
reckless.
slow too, because like having Mars in like Taurus, or even having it in like the 2nd house, like you take your time more. Like,
no, but like that's literally what I've been telling myself. You're more
gonna be about the finessing than like rushing through things. You're gonna want to set the stage.
She's so on point. She's so on, because
like candles and music and food.
Before I didn't give a fuck. I was just like, I'm gonna just do what it is. Now I'm like, damn, now I have to last longer in bed.
Yeah.
Now I have to be like slower in how I do. You're so on point. And then I have a question for you. My progressive Venus just finished going over my natal sun. So my natal sun is 20 and progressed Venus is 21. So am I becoming more beautiful?
Your natal in Cancer?
In Gemini.
Oh, in Gemini. Yeah. So your progressed Venus has
21.
Has gone over your...
My 20 degree natal sun.
Okay, so that's supposed to be about a woman showing up. So when Venus
the
goes
Empress.
retrograde in Capricorn later this year and opposes, it should bring somebody in, and by the time Jupiter shows up, you'll connect with her, but she's probably going to live somewhere else, which is a
Long
representation
distance,
of Saturn square your Venus and your Pluto. Usually a progressed Sun in conjunction to a Venus, whether it's progressed Venus or progressed Sun, is an indication of somebody coming into your
That's
life,
interesting.
or on an angular, especially like progressed Venus conjunct your 7th house cusp or your
Definitely
natal.
been changing like my view on beauty and like, because before
Well,
I
yeah,
used to
you're
be
gonna
like, I
become
don't
more
care,
of a
I like-
you're gonna be more of a breast man. Come on, Venus and Cancer. Men who have Venus, Moon,
Oh my
in
God,
Cancer, or
right.
anything in Cancer, they want titties. So you're gonna be like big
I originally
breasts.
was a breast guy, then I became an ass guy, and I'm not gonna lie, I was ogling some breasts before and just marveling at how beautiful they were.
Yeah,
And
so you're
I
going to be
didn't
super
realize.
into breasts. You're going to be into fairer skinned women. And you're going to pay a lot more attention to their face. Because if a guy has
Oh,
Venus
right,
or Moon in
face.
Cancer, they like face and breasts. You're also going to look at women and kind of be like, oh, are they like mommy figures? Like, you're going to be like, could she have my baby? Like, that's what how you're going to start thinking.
No, I have. It's
Yeah.
not. It's a mild baby fever, but on some real shit, it's just like I'm not gonna pull out, like that type of shit. Like okay, like that's how I base sex on now. Like, am I gonna pull out or not? If I'm gonna pull out, I won't have sex. Like,
God. That is very Mars and Taurus, though.
Yeah,
It's all about like fertility and yeah.
and now it's sustaining it too. Like, whereas before I tempt myself and I'll be like, do it. Now it's like, nope. if I bust, it's in vaginal walls. Like, man, I'm prepared. And then I just realized it's progressing to Taurus. So it's like, oh, there we go. And it's going to eventually, I don't think it'll catch up to Uranus because it'll go into Gemini.
But also Cancer is
in the same
Cancer
sign.
starts in your 2nd or your 3rd?
Cancer is technically in Placidus, my 3rd house conjunct Jupiter and Chiron.
Okay.
Right.
So Venus going through there is gonna probably be like you like going on road trips and driving back and forth to see like a woman and like seeing her, and then eventually, you know, with the trine, it's gonna be like somebody who you go on trips with a lot, and then eventually you start talking about like domestic stuff.
And eventually Venus will progress over my progressed rising.
So you're gonna
there's
be
that.
even more attractive.
Right, I figure
like
I'll
that,
get my
progressed
6-pack
Venus.
by then, and I'll be like beautifying myself, and like maybe I won't use makeup heavy, but like or at all, but like I'll be like using lotion more and like actually, you know, giving a fuck about my appearance instead of 12th housing the shit. And
Cancer
hiding.
Moon is always the face. So if somebody has like really strong Cancer or lunar qualities, they have like a really, you can see just like the moon face, like it's like very illuminated.
And then my progressed moon has been sextile Neptune natally, so I feel like I'm a bit more psychic. But it's 14 Pisces, and I've been just a little, I won't say I've been lost in Pisces, but it's just like a
14,
lot of
15, 16 is that sweet spot. Yeah, I remember when Neptune was there and it was trining my Pluto, and I was like working hard, but I was
It's
playing
trining my
so
natal
hard.
Jupiter right now.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
your
think
natal
about that.
Jupiter is further along, because I've had the
Natal
grand trine.
15, progressed 22.
Oh, see, I have Pluto trine Jupiter, and I've had Neptune coming into Pisces, trining with my Cancer Jupiter and my Pluto.
What does
So,
that feel like? Because like I have natal 15
It's-
Jupiter, natal 15 Pluto, and then in a month
I
it's going to
mean,
be
you have to
progressed
understand,
15
Neptune has been in
Pisces.
my 6th house, creating the trine to my Jupiter 10th and my Pluto 2nd. It's been great for business. Business has been very busy, but it's
From 10th to
it's
2nd.
constantly helping people, is what it's been. Neptune in the 6th is constantly helping people, wanting to nap, drink wine. You know, it's been busy. I'm very thankful, but
Strange occurrences and helping
probably
too.
the most strange thing with Neptune trine Pluto is definitely hearing stuff. Like I'll wake up,
Right.
people. I hear my name sometimes. I'll wake up because I hear my name, or
I've been
I'll
having
hear stuff.
clairaudient battles like more so than ever. It's just like this petty influence. I'm not gonna say this. It's gonna sound too much like schizophrenia, but it's just been. It's
Isn't Neptune still aspecting your Saturn?
natally?
Yeah.
Oh, do you mean transiting Neptune?
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Transiting Neptune.
It is sextile. my
Yeah,
natal
so it
Saturn.
is. So
Yeah.
if it's sextiling your Saturn and Pluto is on your Saturn, you're still
And my moon.
Yeah, I mean that's like dead grandmas and stuff hanging around, like literally.
Word. And it's always in a reaction to what I do or say. So it's like you can sense the frequency shift.
Man, I wonder what's gonna happen
just don't
with
take it
that
too seriously.
retrograde. That retrograde that's coming in Capricorn.
Which the Pluto or the Venus retrograde?
It's gonna go right over Pluto.
Yeah, and then it's gonna go direct with Mars over. So I think that's gonna be like, I think. That's
Oh yeah,
gonna be
then Mars
collectively
shows up in
life-changing.
like what, February? March?
Yeah. And then they both conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. Like that period, I think, is going to be when that greatest twist happens.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be like February, March, April 2022.
Yeah. In fact, I was so focused on 2021, I forgot how 2022
is fucking
the finale.
wild. It's so wild when I think about some of the stuff that's coming. I mean, just like
and it's going to square your progressed Sag energy too.
Well, yeah, but I'm more concerned about transit. Saturn is going to sit on my 5th house north node, and it's going to square my Pluto, and transit Uranus is in my 8th house. So it's going to be a T-square with putting a real emphasis on
natal.
Saturn on my north node.
Damn.
So it's all like north node, 5th house stuff. So I'm just like,
oh!
no! No.
And it's the Aquarius.
It'll be there for
5th
2
house.
years too. It'll square for 2 years. It'll square in those degrees for 2 years. So, and then Uranus will conjunct the north node. So it's inevitable. It's just a matter of like when. Mm-hmm. But
Aquarius 5th house,
keep
unexpected.
adopting dogs and doing my due diligence, I guess. Fuck. It's okay. You'll have a brother.
Oh,
You have a little brother since you're my
what's
adopted
okay.
Nigerian son.
That's what's up. I'm your Nigerian son and your work
Maybe
hubby.
it's you.
I'm everything.
Maybe
oh,
you're my baby.
The jig is up. Now you know.
Also, just so you guys know, we have subscriptions. So if you want to help support the channel, we appreciate it because for 99 cents, what is it, a week?
99.
I don't know, 99 cents a week? I don't know the math.
Oh,
but
a month for the membership?
For the membership, you can support Mike, my Nigerian son, and his beer fund.
Yes.
So please help support.
That way I don't have to do scams asking you for your credit card. There you go. Like it is what it is.
I mean, if you're good at it, though, why stop?
Honestly, I think yesterday I got scammed by a Nigerian prince.
What?
Through Bitcoin, and it's like it be your own people, and it was
What?
just like, yeah, it's this website where you do Bitcoin mining and you invest money and you get profits, which was a huge red flag, and it was just so dumb, I didn't really think about it, and they're just like, oh no, like I wouldn't lie to you. Blah,
Venus
blah,
in opposition to Neptune? Do you not look at the fucking transits?
And
I'm gonna baby shake you.
And then I looked at the website after, and I realized that they literally have 2 testimonials that are the same, and it's just such a fake site.
Did you call them, and did they go, call me now for your free reading?
Well, like I haven't. There's another site that I did the mining that literally ripped the other site, so they're both scam sites, and it's just like, I paid this person like $1,000 a big high.
It's okay, it'll come back to you.
I really feel it will. And
Actually, it probably will.
yeah.
It probably will. Put it out there.
It was a good lesson. I've learned how to recognize the scam and not just be as stupid.
Venus Neptune.
When I moved to Las Vegas and I got my second apartment, I went to.
I remember that you got scammed. I remember thou who shall not be named. Voldemort telling me that.
I went right.
You didn't get the keys yet, and you were waiting for it.
I went to Craigslist, and they had posted a house that was also posted online on their site, and they're like, "Oh, we only let people, we're a Christian household, so we want to make sure you're good." They got my ass. I was like, "Oh, okay, you're wholesome people." I sent them the money, all sketchy, because I had to send in Western Union. Boom,
That's your
gone.
first sign.
Never heard of them again. So, yeah.
Well, good vibes that it comes back to you.
I've had that string of just getting finessed by people that if I used even a little bit of my brain, I would have known. I know from the get-go it's a scam too. Not in that case, even though when I drove, I saw a synchronicity that said con, and I didn't realize until after. But like most of the times, like I'll feel it's a scam, but I don't want to believe it, and then I get scammed. Like a dumbass. But it is what it is. Lesson learned, I hope.
Watch out for those oppositions to Neptune. They're going to be alive and well for like the next 2 or 3 weeks. So.
Yeah, and it just happened so fast. I feel like an old dude that just like falls for the dumbest shit. And even in like, and that was very revealing too. Recently, I got revealed people's characters that I believe this Neptunian image they put, and a Virgo came through and dispelled all that.
What degree is your sun?
20.
Oh, so Neptune's still squaring your sun.
My natal sun?
Duh. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Duh.
Oh,
Duh. With Venus and Mars coming in.
damn.
I'm so OCD. I'm always looking at transits, so those motherfuckers aren't gonna get me.
Well, that's a bit, just the tip of the iceberg of the progress chart.
Yeah,
we barely
check out
scratched
your
the
progress
surface.
chart. Let us know.
And if you need a reading, you can hit any of us up. All right, we will hook you
we'll
up.
read you to filth if you want to know all about your progress chart. Let us know where your progress sun, moon, or rising is, and what changes you've
Comment it
noticed,
down below.
based off of your progressions. Or if you have questions about your progress chart, let us know down below. Obviously, we love you guys so much. Thank you guys for watching, liking, sharing, and subscribing. You're making it possible for us to keep going. We are now more than 6 months and 30 episodes in, and we are just going to keep chugging along. So, anything else?
That's it.
That's it? All right, guys. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Until then, we'll see all of you very soon. Take care.